So it seems like an apropos time to say hello for the first time on this program to Tommy TNT Fury. There he is in the flesh. Hello, Tommy. How are you?
Yes, I'm very well. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. My sister's very excited about this. She's currently nursing her newborn, but this is the highlight of her day that I'm talking to you on the program.
Congratulations to her, and may God bless them both and the newborn baby, and best luck to all of you.
Thank you so much, Tommy. That's very kind of you. So you're in Las Vegas right now, right, to support your brother?
Yes, I've been here since Thursday, so I've been here for a bit of time now, just did nicely, and it's close. It's time to get that job done.
So, of course, I'd like to ask you about that fight, but we're here to talk about you specifically in your career. You had the fight in Cleveland, the victory over Anthony Taylor. I remember asking you in the ring how you felt about the performance. Here we are, a month and a half or so later. How do you feel about that fight and the performance? You know, there was a lot of talk that he was so much smaller than you, that you should have steamrolled through him. Overall, were you happy? Were you proud of what you did out there in Cleveland in August?
I mean, the end goal for any fighter is to come out of a fight with a win, and I did that. I went across first time in America without my trainer, and I got the win. And it was a shutout, won by unanimous decision. But sometimes you face styles in life that prevent quite tricky. And Anthony Taylor was very small. I'd never faced a guy that small before. He didn't really come to fight. He didn't really want to engage. So it was kind of hard to get him out of there. But with all that being said, a fight's a fight and a win's a win, and I come away with that. So, it was my US debut, and I'm very proud of it, yeah.
Did you feel, perhaps in hindsight, like you fought emotionally because he tried to make it personal with you, right? Did it ever get to you? I know you said all the right things leading up to it, but did it get to you at any point?
No, honestly, at no point, because in this whole fight game, people think because I'm young and I've not had that many fights and this and that, they can try and get in my head and all that sort of stuff. But they're forgetting that I've been around this game my whole entire life, and I've seen Tyson go through all these mind games with the best in the business. Vladimir Klitschko's of the game. I've seen all that happen before, so there's not a chance any fighter can ever get inside my head. When I got in that ring with him, it was never emotional. I just wanted to try and, get the highlight knockout a bit too much, I think maybe. But again, it's all experience and all learning. I'll go back to the drawing board, and next time I'll just take my time and take it slow and get the job done right.
There was some news prior to the fight. I didn't have a chance to ask you, but I'm just curious. What was your take on them shortening the fight? It went, it went down to 6 rounds, I believe, prior to the weigh-ins. And what I was told from your promoter, Frank Warren, was that this was a decision by the British commission, who said that you don't have the experience, and that's obviously understandable. But to me, it was strange that the British commission would weigh in on something that's happening in Ohio. What was your take on that?
Honestly, I have no take on that, because my job is just to train and fight and win. Whatever happens behind the scenes with the British Board of Boxing Control and any other board, it's out of my hands. It's not my call. I don't get involved in all that stuff. I leave that stuff up to my promoters, my managers, and obviously my trainer. So I kind of shut my way from the whole decision. When I heard it was 4 rounds, I thought, okay, I would have loved to have done 6, because if it had been a 6th round, it'd have been knocked out. But, it is what it is. I can safely say that from this point on, hopefully I'm not doing any more 4-rounders. I hope I can stay at the 6s and the 8s and whatever like that. Because I feel like a 4-round fight is very short, and you can't really, take your time and get your proper shots off.
And thank you for the correction. I guess the word was originally 8, then it went to 6, and then eventually it went to 4. So that's what it was. And I think more people wanted to see you go longer, and that's where, all the hysteria came from. Right after the fight was over, the card was over, Jake Paul beats Tyron Woodley. There's that moment that was caught by my friends at BT Sport of you guys in the hallway. What happened there?
I was just simply doing an interview with BT Sport, and he comes walking up the corridor with about 400 men behind him. And I don't really pay any attention. As you see now in the video, I stood there, I looked at him, and he came right up in my face. I didn't flinch, and I just said to him, you need to stop running and take the fight. And hopefully this fight is, close to getting made now. But we'll see. We'll see on that. I'm ready. Like I've said all along, this fight, anybody who knows me and see me training in the gym and see my performances on other fights knows that I'm way too much for Jake Paul. This is a mismatch. So, whether he really wants that fight, I don't know. I know he's offered some money about it. I know he's done this and done that, but the offers that he was putting in was terrible. Thankfully I've got a great team behind me and some great lawyers. And that's it. I want to get this fight on because it's been brewing for a long time. And I'm not one for talking. I'm in the ring and I'm doing it. But I know I can splatter Jake Paul all over that ring, because what is he? He's a YouTuber, and he's gone into boxing. He's a man with a pair of boxing gloves. He ain't got no talent. What has he got? We've seen that in the Tyrone Woodley fight. He was doing 8 rounds. Woodley never threw a punch, and he got gassed out, and he was looking at the clock every round. So what's he going to do with me, who's going to be pressing him every second of every single minute in that fight? He's going to crumble, and that'll be the end of him.
Okay, I love this. Now, I was just about to ask you about the fight itself. What did you think of his performance? It sounds like you weren't all that impressed.
I thought it was absolutely shocking. Listen, my performance wasn't the best, was it? But his performance was absolutely shocking. Absolutely diabolical.
Why?
He got hit with one shot. He got hit with one shot, nearly fell through the ropes. His footwork is awful. He doesn't move his head at all. He's what he is, isn't he? You know, it looked a bit fishy from my eyes, to be fair, because once Woodley hit him with that right hand, he stood off him. The fella was through the ropes. Now, if that had been on the other foot, I'd have been all over him, smashing him with 10, 12 punches all about the head. But I don't know. Listen, it's what it is, isn't it? He's a novice, as much as myself, but he's more of a novice than me, put it that way.
That sequence where it seemed like Woodley rocked him, he was, I guess, accused isn't the right word, but it looked like he was holding on to the ropes. Do you feel like that should have been a proper knockdown?
I don't know. I mean, and a knockdown's a knockdown. They've got to touch the floor, haven't they, in my opinion. But, you know, Woodley should have pressed more. If Woodley would have pressed that fight, like kept on pushing, he would have got Paul out of there. If he would have worked the body and stuff like that, he would have got Paul out of there, because Paul has never done 8 rounds. He's never been in a fight before, so he wouldn't know what it's like. And Woodley would have got on top of him because he's got that experience in the fight game, but he never did it. So it's his own mistake, isn't it?
When you were watching that, I'm assuming in the back, was it a weird thing? Like, were you actually rooting for Paul because you want to be the first guy to beat him, right? I mean, as much as you may not like him, the fight to make afterwards was you and him. So I'm assuming you were kind of rooting for him to keep fighting and to win the fight, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I want him to win the fight, of course. You know, even though we are towards each other, I still want him to win the fight, because I want the fight for me and him to pull off, because, you know, all these other people, all these MMA guys he keeps fighting, let's not lie, he's probably going to keep beating them because they're MMA fellas, and that's the reason he's gone down that route. But if he steps up and fights a real boxer, you know, which he should do, and which hopefully will come off, it's over for him. You know, it's completely over. There's no chance in hell that man comes out with a victory against me. There's no chance.
Any worry that now that Tyron Woodley got the tattoo that, you know, maybe he'll go back and fight him?
Definitely not. I mean, if he's a smart man, which he claims he is, he wouldn't go back and take the rematch, because I watched it in the back and I was falling to sleep. It was probably one of the worst fights I've ever watched. Neither men really threw a punch. There was no exciting drama moments. There was nothing. I was sat there with my promoter, Frank Warren, in the back, who was watching it. And I said to Frank, my God, I don't know how you're looking at this after doing boxing for 50 years, back when men were real men. And we both started laughing, because it is what it is, isn't it?
This is amazing stuff. Now, you guys have gone back and forth as of late. In fact, Jake Paul recently put out a video, a message to you. For those that may have missed it, I just want to play a clip of it and get your response to it, okay? All right, here we go. Here's Jake Paul talking about Tommy Fury.
This is the last time I'm speaking about this guy if we don't end up fighting, because I'm starting to get pissed off. Tommy Fury's about to fumble the biggest bag of his life. Tommy, I made you famous. I gave you the biggest payday of your life. You came to the U.S., got your U.S. debut for your dream to come true. I gave you a chance to shine in front of the whole entire world, and now I'm offering to quadruple the biggest payday of your life that I gave you to fight me. For everyone at home, this is what happens when you give someone clout, when you give them an ego. They start to think they're better than they actually are. I have dozens of other fighters calling me out every single week, Tommy. You're replaceable.
I saw you laughing while that clip was playing. That's Jake Paul, of course, on his Instagram. I think he posted that. What do you make of that message from Jake Paul?
It sums him up, to be fair, doesn't it? It's complete bullshit. I mean, the man talking about he made me famous, this and that, that's obviously, everyone knows that's, you know, it's kidology. That's all it is. I can't even talk about that, because it's just that much silliness. And the reason why everything's bullshit in what he's saying is because I'm not replaceable. And the fact that I'm not replaceable is that everyone's sick of seeing him fight these same fighters. UFC this, UFC that, good record, old men. He can't, there's no one else out there, with a brother like mine, the best fighter in the whole entire world, WBC lineal world heavyweight champion, and me below, in the same category as Jake Paul, with the clout I've got. Name me one other boxer who's had 7 professional fights and got the recognition that I have. Fair point. It might be from another thing, but still, the recognition is there. You know, there's nobody else, and that's the reason why this fight's still getting talked about and negotiated, because he knows how big this fight is. And if he went off and fought another UFC man, people would stop losing interest, and he knows that. But all what he's saying there is stupid. It's absolutely stupid. I don't buy into anything that Jake Paul says, because I know when we get in that ring, I'm going to let my fist do the talking. I know it's cliche for a boxer to say, but there'll be no game plan for that fight. I'll go straight over to him and I will annihilate Jake Paul. He's tailor-made for me. He don't move his head. He's useless anyway. I'd let Jake Paul hit me for fun. He's no good. So I'm sick of people comparing the fight between me and him. There is no fight. I go in there and it's a shutout victory for me, and that's it.
Okay, so as of right this moment, October 6th, midday, where does the fight stand? Where do things stand between you guys? Because this was about a week ago, and he even posted something about like, oh, he's going to take some time. He's retired now because no one wants to fight him. Where does the actual fight stand from your perspective as of today, October 6th?
You know, I've been over here since Thursday, about a week now, and you know, I've not had a chance to speak to my lawyers. But last time I did speak to them, it was looking good. You know, and that's all I've really got to say about it. You know, that I leave everything like that up to my lawyers and my team. And I only get the call when everything's done and everything's, you know, whatever it is. But as far as I know, it's still getting negotiated, so it's not completely dead. So we'll see where we go from this.
Are you confident it gets made?
I'm fairly confident, yeah, if the man wants to fight. Because with Jake Paul, he's the type of person that would agree to fight. He'll agree to all this and pull out next minute because he's got other avenues. You know, he's not a boxer. I don't really believe he's got a passion for this. I think he's doing it for a gimmick, a bit more money than he's already got. You know, so you can't really say you're fighting Jake Paul until you're in the ring with him. But listen, the thing about me is I've got my own career. I've got my ambitions of being a world champion. I'm not in this to make a few quid and, you know, have a few fights with the YouTubers. I'm not about that. As you've seen from the start of my career, I fight professional boxers, be it what they are, the professional boxers, and I'm learning my trade properly. I'm going to go a long way in this game, and Jake Paul's going to be out of here in a year, if that, 2 years. So it's completely different scales. Whether this fight happens or not, I ain't done people saying, Jake Paul, I've said, I fumbled the biggest bag of my life. I've got a career in this. So he needs to select his words very carefully, doesn't he? Because the man's speaking like an idiot.
How far apart? Could you tell us how far apart you guys are right now?
Honestly, I wouldn't know. If I knew, I'd tell you. But I've been over here. I've been concentrating on Tyson. The whole thing's been about Tyson over here. I don't really want to deal with all that since being over here. So I'll just put strict instruction and said, listen, you deal with it. That's what you get paid for. And let me know when you hear something worth telling me.
Would it be, so he has come out and said $1 million. Would it be fair that would be would that be the biggest payday of your career?
It would be the biggest, but it's definitely not quadruple. Definitely not.
Okay.
See, I think Jake Paul seems to think that I've had 7 fights and I'm fighting for small money.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not the case. I've got 4 million followers. My purses for my fights are very good. No matter what the internet says, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Honestly, I've seen some there, yeah, saying that I got 10 grand for the last fight. I can sit in bed and do that with a camera and post it on Instagram. So I'm not going to get my head punched in for that, am I? So at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's all bullshit. You know, it's all hearsay. The public, you know, they don't really know what's going on. They can only go off what people are saying. And Jake Paul at the minute is the one spouting all the bullshit. I'm keeping quiet until the job's done. Until this fight is signed, sealed, and delivered, you're going to see Tommy Fury then.
Okay, and just curious, there was something that came out, and you might say it's BS as well, where it was like, oh, these are the purses for the Cleveland fight, and it said that he donated a certain amount, but you declined. I think it was you and Daniel Dubois who declined it per this sheet of paper. Is that true? Was that a real thing?
No, nothing. I didn't hear anything about that whatsoever. All I did for that last fight of mine, I got on the plane to come here and fought. I didn't hear anything about, you know, I heard about my purse before the fight and that was it. All these donations and this and that, it's all hearsay. It's all pie in the sky. I didn't hear nothing about that.
Okay. Do you have a preference? Like, where do you think would be the ideal place to put on this fight if it gets done? Should it happen in the UK? Should it happen back in Cleveland? Should it happen venue in Vegas, maybe fight capital of the world, MSG? What do you think? What's the best place for it?
I mean, it's a big fight. It is a very big fight. I know in the UK, I can't go down the street without everybody asking me, when you're knocking out Jake Paul, when is this fight going to happen? And I wish I could tell them, but it's a massive fight in the UK. I do believe it would sell out an arena comfortably. So, of course, it's a big fight there. Over here in Vegas, you know, it would comfortably, you know, do the MGM, I'm sure. Because, as you see, Jake Paul brings a pretty big crowd with him. There was a pretty big crowd there in Cleveland. So any of these places are options. I'd love to fight in Vegas where Tyson's about to fight. I'd love to fight back in Manchester. But the bottom line is, I don't care where this fight is. It's the same outcome.
Do you have a deadline? Because I'm assuming like you want to be active, you want to move on with your life, you want to fight. If this fight doesn't come to fruition by X date, are you moving on to something else?
Oh, 100%. Listen, I'm not about to put my career on standstill for someone like Jake Paul, a YouTuber. I'm a professional athlete, professional boxer who's been doing this a long time. Jake Paul or no Jake Paul, you'll see me back in the ring in December.
Oh, really? Okay, wow. So that is it. You're fighting in December, no ifs, ands, or buts. If it's going to be Jake Paul, it'll be in December. If it's not going to be Jake Paul, you'll be there in December.
Correct.
Wow, okay. And why December? Any particular reason you want to just get one in before the end of the year?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a young, hungry fighter, and the only way to learn in this game is ring time. And I want as many fights as possible. So if I can squeeze another one in, I will do. And I'm looking at December because I'm back in the gym already. My weight's down. I'm ready to go. I'm fight ready all year round. So we're working on it, and we'll see. I should hopefully have some news after this fight's all said and done. I should hopefully have some good news by the end of next week.
Okay. Just a few other things I want to ask you about. I did see an article. Anytime you breathe or your Mrs. Molly May breathes, there's an article about it in the rags, I think they call it in England. She said she gets way too anxious when you fight. And it sounds like she doesn't enjoy it, and I can understand it's a loved one fighting. Is there a chance that maybe you don't go very far because, you don't want to put your loved ones in agony when you're fighting? Has she told you, hey, maybe we can cool it on the fighting stuff. We could do other things. We had a lot of success on TV. We don't have to get punched in the face. Has this conversation happened?
Definitely not. Definitely not. Molly's been with me long enough now. We've been together for over 2.5 years. She knows this is my life. I've been boxing since I've been 8 years old. I do nothing but box, and she knows how passionate about it. She knows how much it means to me. And the one thing that she does do, she gets anxious, yeah, but she's supporting me 100% of the way. And that's all I ask. And she doesn't mind when I'm going away for these training camps, or I'm going out to watch Tyson fight, or I'm going anywhere to do boxing, because that's my job. Like, her job is a social media influencer. She's got to go here, there for shoots. That's her job. So she knows when anything's to do with boxing, it's my job. And, there's nothing more passionate that I'm about than boxing. So, wherever the fight may be, she'll deal with it, and she'll be there supporting me 100% of the way.
We spoke to your brother Tyson on Monday. It was phenomenal stuff that he told us. He got very deep and introspective. He's one of the most interesting people in the fight game. And I'm wondering, from your perspective, if you can compare. I mean, I'm certain that you've seen him go through the ups and the downs. He seems to be in a great spot right now mentally. He seems to be very content. He's happy about the right things. He knows what success means. It means family life, home, kids, wife, not the money, not the fame. What's your read on Tyson right now, his sort of mental state going into this fight? From afar, it seems like he's in a really happy place, but, you never know. Could you tell us where he's at right now as he heads into this trilogy fight against Deontay Wilder?
Yeah, he's in the best place I've ever seen him mentally, because, like you said, he's been through the hard times, he's been through the good times, and now he's 100% in the correct place, mentally, physically, emotionally, everything. He's trained super hard for this. He's had all the right sparring. He's been training. He's never stopped training. Me and Tyson was in Miami, I think in June. We was training flat out twice a day, every single day there. Tyson doesn't stop training because it's not about boxing. It's about for his mentalness. If he stops training, he gets bored and gets lonely, gets down. So he has to train every day. So Tyson's always in shape. As far as this fight goes, you're going to see the best Tyson Fury ever in this fight, because he had 6 weeks to work with Sugar Hill for the last fight. 6 weeks. And that was about 20 months ago. So he's had more time now to work with Sugar Hill to perfect that style. And we watched a comparison video the other day of Tyson in the second video and Tyson now. And I wouldn't like to be Deontay Wilder in that ring on Saturday night, I'll tell you that.
Oh my. What do you think? What's your prediction?
Ever since the fight got announced, round 5 has been through in my mind.
Wow.
That's what I'm going with. I just think there's nothing that Deontay Wilder can do. You've seen all this new footage of him coming out in the pads, doing other things. It's all right, but if you've never done that in a fight before, and you go into a new fight and you got a man punching you hard in the face, you're going to revert back to what you always done. And I do believe Deontay Wilder will revert back to what he did in the second fight, and it'll be over very quick.
By the way, ever have an instance where it's perhaps Tyson calling you on the phone, or even maybe your father, John, calling you on the phone and you can't tell the difference? I've never heard two people who sound more alike than John and Tyson. You ever get mixed up between the two?
I mean, I've been around it long enough now to realize the difference, but I can imagine for everybody else it's very similar. I've honestly never heard two people sound alike in my life like that.
I asked Tyson about this on Monday, and he actually brought you up. I just want to play you this last clip, and then we'll let you go. Here's Tyson talking about perhaps getting you to sound like him and John in the future. Take a listen.
One of my good friends, Ty Mitchell, we were sparring, and he hit me in the throat real hard. And I developed a blood clot in my throat. And it messed around with my vocal cords. So this is why I talk like this now.
Wow.
So it sounds just like my dad. I've heard it, and I can even hear it myself. So yeah, we've both got a husky voice.
Yes, it's amazing.
Some would say it's quite sexy, I've been told.
I like it. It's iconic. It's very memorable. I don't mind it at all. Your brother Tommy sounds nothing like you guys. Maybe eventually that will happen to him as well. He also looks nothing like you. I mean, let's be honest.
Maybe I'll have to punch him in the throat sooner or later. Welcome him into the clan.
Any threats of being punched in the throat to make you sound officially like a Fury, or no?
I think it's coming. I'm not going to lie. I think it's coming one day. We do plenty of work in the gym, so I can imagine one day you'll hit me in the throat, and I will be speaking like, "Hey, you over there."
Yes,
I will join the clan. Yeah. That'll be me because we're in the gym, we're all messing around, and probably end up like my dad and brother. Yeah, as the time goes on.
Have you ever sparred him?
Yeah, many times.
Okay, for this camp.
It's I've sparred Tyson ever since first when I started boxing, and bits throughout every camp really. It's absolutely pointless for me because I'm hitting nothing but the wind. You try and hit him around the body, you hit his elbows, and you end up breaking your hand on him. Tyson's a one of a kind athlete, but of course to share the ring with him is it's amazing for me. And obviously you can't get any better work than that. So I'm happy and I'm blessed that it's there on the other end of the phone. Whatever I need in this game, I've got the perfect man and the best in the world to advise me, go down the street, do this, do that right. I'm so lucky to be in the position that I am. I'm going to take full advantage of it.
I actually asked him if he was going to offer you any advice on how to get this deal done with Jake. And he said, that's your business. That's your money. He's not going to help out. He wants you to figure it out. Is that accurate?
Yeah, definitely 100%. Because if you get told everything in this life, you're not really going to go anywhere. You need to have your own brain and think for yourself. And that's what I've done. I know my worth. I know what this fight is, and I know, how to get this fight done. And I've stuck to my guns all the way, and it looks good at the minute. So, I'm not about to change anything now. So I'm going to sit tight and enjoy the fight at the weekend.
Last thing, just for just for the sake of accuracy, do you want to tell us how much you want for the fight? I mean, I can call them. I could call Nikisa now. We could try to make the fight a done deal. Do you want to tell us or?
No, listen, everything like that just depends on my lawyers. Okay. Everything goes through my lawyers and stuff like that. That's all that needs to be mentioned. As far as anything else, you'll hear from me, and you'll hear from me about Jake Paul when this fight's done. And until it's done, I ain't gonna burn his name out of my mouth like he's doing to me. Every other day I'm on his story. Can't get enough from me at the minute. He must fancy me or something. I know he said he wants to grip your cheeks, so we'll see.
Do you want to send him a message right now? Do you want to say anything to Jake?
Yes, Mr. Jake Paul. When me and you get in the ring, kiss goodbye and don't ever put on a pair of boxing gloves ever again, because it's over for you. I'm going to send you straight back to where you belong, jumping off bridges on YouTube and messing about with a camera, because you don't belong in my world, mate, and you're going to find out very soon. So keep talking.
I love it. And by the way, no truth to the rumor. I heard people were saying one of the sticking points was both you and Jake said I had to be the post-fight interviewer for the fight. I just want to say, I hadn't heard that yet. I mean, I appreciate you guys sticking your neck out for me, but don't let me be the stumbling block for making this fight happen, okay?
Listen, it's all down to you. You are probably the best interviewer I've been on with. So,
thank you.
Credit to you, and let's hope you get the job, eh?
All right, thank you, Tommy. I wish you and the family the best on Saturday. This was great stuff, and good luck in trying to get that fight done. And I look forward to seeing you in action, hopefully against Jake in December, but if not, against someone else. Thank you so much, Tommy. Good luck.
Thanks very much. God bless.
All right, there he is, the one and only Tommy Fury.